one of those things where I'm like, oh my god, you guys, like you guys are really. This is embarrassing.
Cool.
Oh, wow.
We
I gotta put this in.
are live.
Okay. They just saw me spit my gum out. This is real fun.
All right, and then we will really be live when we get on
Perfect.
Anchor. So, Kendall, this is audio and video.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah, let me try. I got this new iPhone, so I'm still trying to figure out how to mute it.
You can do the side.
I did, but it just rang right now. So I'm like, what was that?
You can
like,
bring it back to the store and get an Android.
I Android for like 10 years. I've been like 10 years.
Oh, I see.
I normally don't make jokes like that, but I had to. Like, that was just.
I've
right
tried
there,
doing
and
Android,
relax,
and I just can't. But you know, you do you.
It's funny. I've been Android for literally probably 12 years. First Apple phone I've had, and I'm not gonna knock it. I actually kind of like it. I'm liking it more and more. It's just different.
You're coming over to the bright side.
I kind of am. It's pretty solid.
No, I definitely plan on getting. My next phone's going to be an iPhone. I'll have both because that just makes sense to have both. I'm looking for Anchor, and I don't know why I can't find the app, and I know I didn't. I don't know what.
You could search for it. You know, it's easy to search on the Apple phone.
Yeah.
It's like right there on the screen.
I was gonna say something. I was like, I'll let her know. She got it. She got it.
All right, boom.
There we go.
All right, hello Tucson. Welcome to Coffee with ThreeCo, a podcast focused on sharing the inspirational stories of Tucson's most interesting people and their local businesses, organizations, or whatever it is that they're doing. I'm one of your co-hosts, Jermaine. I'm the founder of Empyrean Partners, a small business support organization that believes anyone can monetize their passion.
And I am Kelsey Farley. I am a local Tucson blogger who showcases businesses and places to visit with your family around town. And we are accompanied by Kendall Foster, who is in economic development with
Pascua, Yaqui Nation.
There we go.
Pascua,
Pascua and Yaqui.
Pascua.
Okay.
Pascua,
You
Yaqui.
need to
Try
break it down.
PYT. So think PYT, pretty young thing. PYT. Same thing. Same exact thing.
Okay.
I like that. And you know, so thinking about the way that we try to say different words depending on the language that we were brought up with, right? It's more difficult to say other languages.
Totally.
So just recently I learned that Asians don't say R. No, not the reason why we do that, but they were talking about Asians and the R and the L's, I think, in our language, is the way that your brain actually learns how to take in the information that comes via words. Like your brain says, this is the way that we're going to do this word thing over years and years. And when you go to learn another language, it's like your brain is relearning how to learn language. And then you have those people who have that, of course, that skill where whatever it is, they can just go from language to language. They just have that sort of sliding skill to just learn it. But yeah, for us regular people, it's like an actual little more of a hurdle to learn another language. But I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, takes work. Takes work to learn new languages.
I'm trying to make you feel better.
Yeah.
Thank you. I do. I feel wonderful now.
Yeah. Pascua, Yaqui. Yeah. So yeah, this is all O'odham land, and so the native tongue would be O'odham, and still learning my O'odham through my grandmother, through my elders, and through my lineage there. So I need to get more in contact with it and more in tune with it so I can teach my kids too as well. Kind of keep that tradition kind of going. So I love how you're kind of skirting on the Asian comment. I'm like, hey man, it's a little hot. Like that topic's hot right now. Don't touch that.
Oh, that's right.
Don't.
I have to go.
Yeah, I know. I was like, you know what? I forgot about that thing I had to do.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, you gotta pinch me next time.
Okay.
All right. Cool. You have permission.
Okay.
Yeah. So, why this project?
So, tribal government is something I've been wanting to get into probably for the past 8 years. I've obviously a lot of people don't know I'm half native myself. I joke around and say, hey, I'm a native to Tucson, native to Tucson, but also native to Gila River as well. Gila River's about 15 miles shy of Phoenix. Love that community, and I have a lot of family up there. Long story short is I want to pay homage. I really want to pay more homage to my ancestors. I mean, my grandmother is a huge, integral part of my life. She's obviously passed years ago, but I feel like she's like my guardian angel, always behind me. So how could I best honor her? Work for a Native nation. And ideally, Gila River would be, great, but that also would mean I'd have to move. I really love Tucson, and my kids are here, and they live it here too as well. So might as well work with Pascua and see what we can do, all things native there. All the way from entrepreneurs to folks who just want to start maybe just an apparel company, maybe want to start a t-shirt company. Maybe somebody wants to go into agriculture farming, maybe somebody wants to go into engineering. All these different facets, all the way up to working with a large commercial realtor here in Tucson to buy some buildings, actually buy some businesses. And so so with the CARES Act, with the COVID relief funds, a lot of Native nations all across the country have gotten a good chunk of money, gotten millions. And they really want to see, how do we put these millions to work? How do we make it work for us, and how do we make it sustainable? How do we reach every single community member? How do we make sure that they're okay? And then also, how do we make sure that they have options to actually grow and cultivate themselves? Maybe they want to actually start their own farm. Maybe they want to start their own business, but they never knew how. They never knew what an LLC was. Maybe they never written a business plan. Maybe they never knew who to talk to in terms of investors. And that's what I would love to kind of be, that kind of filter, or at least that middle person, to say, hey, I got you. I got something for you, and I got 3 options for you, or whatever that may look like. So with these funds coming in, and then we just got Deb Holland, who actually got nominated to office. That's huge for the interior, and so we're getting about, I think, all things native will be about $31 billion kind of coming our way. So, and obviously that gets dispersed oddly. I know there's a weird system for it, but the point is that we need to figure out, hey, what are we going to do with this money, and how are we going to sustain it, and how are we going to make it work for us. So that's part of the work that I'm doing.
Right on. So one thing I want to learn more about is the tribes, how they work in regards to the U.S. government. So growing up in Jersey, Native, I didn't know about Native land.
Sure.
Right. I knew that reservations were a thing.
Yep.
I didn't really know what reservations were. I thought I didn't think that Native Americans had a separate place that they lived apart from the rest of the country.
Sovereign nation, yes.
When I came over here, maybe 3 years ago, then of course you start talking to people and hear their individual stories, and you're like, oh wow, this is some new realities I didn't know existed before. So
totally. That
was really interesting. So in regards to the United States government and reservations, what's that relationship?
It's kind of tainted. Let's be real. Let's call it like it is. Let's go all the way back. Let's go before pre-1300s. Natives were doing their thing. Somebody comes along on some ships and kind of wrecks a whole lot of stuff, brings a lot of disease, a lot of drama. Let me just say, a lot of drama, a lot of death, a lot of stuff. With that kind of coming into play, a lot of lands were taken. They were raped, they were pillaged, and that's where, now coming full facet, kind of up to today, you see a lot more things kind of coming to play. And I really got to applaud Black Lives Matter, because they really pushed a lot of things into limelight. And I even got to give Trump some credit too. Hey, he really pushed some things out there that was yo, this ain't right.
It was uncomfortable.
It was uncomfortable.
It really was.
And I love it, and that reminds me of uncomfortable conversations with a black man.
Yes.
All these different kind of things that are people have been ugh, it's like nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah.
But hey, guess what? We got to talk about it.
Yeah.
Precisely.
So that right now, we're all the way back to, hey, we need to get back our lands. There's a huge acreage that got released back to the indigenous folks there in California, which is huge, 150 acres. Mm-hmm. That's huge. That's such a big deal. And these are these wins and celebrations that I don't think a lot of folks are kind of speaking to and really kind of bringing to light.
I heard that on Al Jazeera News, actually.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. So cool. I'm happy you heard that. Along with killing that Keystone Pipeline, and I speak to this a lot because I don't think people understand. Great. That Keystone Pipeline, when that got halted, people, literally about 12,000 folks lost their job. And here we go again. At what price? Now, if you notice the pump, the gas kind of went up a little bit. It was kind of chilling nice at $1.99 for a while. It was hey, this is nice. And then it went up a little bit. And then, of course, that Keystone Pipeline is a key indicator of that reason. And here we go with at what cost. I would rather pay an extra $2.50 for gas if I know Pachamama, Mother Earth, is going to be okay. We're not raping her too. And with that Keystone Pipeline, that's exactly what we're doing. We're raping her all the way through there, and that scares the hell out of me, and that scares me that so many people are willing to go down that road to save a couple bucks. That's scary. So these are these fights that I feel like a lot of folks maybe aren't talking about enough. And again, I feel like I'm that guy. I will talk about it. Let's talk about the uncomfortable stuff.
Right.
Like let's really go head on.
Which is necessary.
Yeah.
So when you talk about like the Black Lives Matter movement and the view of, because what happened was the entire world was like, oh my gosh, this is insane.
Yeah.
But what were they really responding to? So, and Simon Sinek starts with why. He talks about how the way leaders get people to gather around them is through their belief system, what they believe. Right?
Sure.
So I believe this, we believe it too, so we're going to do what it takes to make, that happens. And what I felt was everybody who felt oppressed in their corner of the world in whatever way that they felt it,
Sure.
the entire world just sort of popped and were like, this is the straw for all of us. My government sucks, or my family sucks, or this hierarchy sucks, or the way that these things are doing, my boss sucks. Like, people are like, things just, like, our eyes are open. And I think it was the pandemic that had it so that so much stopped happening, so many distractions were forcibly taken away from people.
Yes.
So now they're forced to look at the world and say,
Bingo.
This actually has been there all the time.
Yes.
I'm just now seeing it.
Yes.
Nothing changed. I just started seeing it. So everyone's frustrated at what's happening. So then the next stage is, and what you're talking about is that longer term.
Yeah.
All those pieces that you're talking about, the concept that we're going to come in and solve a problem by A or B, and everyone's like, no, it's not going to be A. It's probably going to be B. Like, no, it might be B. I think, but if we took a little A, a little B, no, there's actually 24 other letters of things that need to happen in order for this to work, and it's long term. I am early in my connection years. I connected two people together. One was working on a long-term project for the cross-border relations, and one was working for people who needed water and food today.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I was like, oh my gosh, you guys are the perfect people to meet up, right?
Yeah.
Well, naturally, those two world views were like, no, these people need help right now. We have to go to this. No, they need education, and they need these other things that take a longer road. So that project never worked out.
Sure.
But just that, we were talking about this before the podcast, instead of, it's either or, right? Together and, not either or. There we go. Together and. Yes.
Got
love
it. You
that.
nailed it.
That's going to stay in my head, too. I love that. So that concept, I think, bringing it to all these types of conversations is the protests aren't about one thing. They're about hundreds of thousands of individual things happening in people's lives every day that they have to experience. It's true. And that's what they're really having outcries for.
Yeah, and I like what you touched on too. There's a lot of folks that are in survival mode, and they can't hear education. They can't hear investing. They can't hear anything because they're thinking, how am I going to eat today?
Precisely.
Like, I need food. I need water. I don't give a crap of what you're talking about, man. Cool. You're talking big words. Water. Where do I get water from? And so like that's a huge spirit. For example, Navajo Nation and the Dene, they didn't have an electrical grid system up there, and this is why COVID kind of really rocked them really well. It rocked them in such a way that it almost wiped them out. So of course, federal funds come through back when Trump kind of leaves office at the end of November. They get about $800 million, and they have an electrical grid system, and that's one of the biggest nations in the country, and it's spread out. It's like 150 miles to a lot of folks. So it's like a third world country up there. And the crazy part is, this is in Arizona. Like, this is in our backyard. Like, this is what gets me. It's like just like what you touched on. Your eyes weren't open before. Like, you didn't see that. Now it's time to see some stuff, and it's time to see some of the ugly histories and the ugly stories that have been told in his story, and now it's time to start telling like her story. And I love that whole saying because a lot of folks have been silenced, a lot of folks have been like oppressed, and now it's time to hear some different stories and different versions. And again, people are not going to like it. Like, it's not going to be welcomed. It's not going to be well received, and it's going to be hard to swallow. So that's the fight I love to fight for. I mean, I love telling these stories. I love talking about these things because again, natives. Again, Black Lives Matter is like up here. It's I'm not gonna lie. It's like it's higher up. Native, indigenous, like it's even more oppressed, and so that's where I'm like
to the point of not being a thing that people talk about.
Don't even talk about it. Like that's my point. It's like again, and this is why I'm using Black Lives Matter as a great example of. I mean, that was shoved in our. I mean, that was literally shoved in everybody's face across the world. I mean, we'll go back to George Floyd. I mean, that was what we saw, that was a modern day lynching. That's exactly what that was. That was nothing short of, and having that shoved up right on the table like that and have to be viewed. I'm wanting to run that fight of, hey, let's get some native stuff out there too, and have that being spoken to as well. Because again, everybody knows what a res is, and we're surrounded by reses here, as you would say. And so, why are we working with them? Why aren't we working together? Why are we partnering up with a lot of folks? I don't get that.
So let's talk about that.
Sure.
So what is a reservation? How many are there? And then what is like the more, we talked about like the psychological, I guess, relationship.
Sure.
What's like the legal structural relationship between the native tribes and the U.S. government?
Ideally, they're supposed to keep it, kind of stay out. They're supposed to, hey, like, the original agreement is kind of like, hey, well, we're going to take X, Y, and Z, and we'll give you some land. And that's how it should be. And quite frankly, it's not being adhered to. And you'll see that all across the country. Supposed to be free of taxes. Literally supposed to just have the U.S. government kind of stay out. It should be that simple. Mm-hmm. And again, it just isn't. And so here with Pascua, Yaqui, we have about 25,000 tribal members that are registered with us. We have about 1,500 who do live out near Casino del Sol, which is called New Pascua. We have Old Pascua, which is closer to Grand Naitin. We have their cultural grounds there too as well. And so about the rest of almost like 22,000 live actually in town. We have about 7 different communities between here and Phoenix. There's 3 between here and Tucson. There's 3 in Tucson, and there's 1 near like San Carlos in Mexico. And so we're really spread out, but also very condensed, very small. The furthest north one is Guadalupe. And here's the irony. You've driven by Guadalupe probably 1,000 times, and y'all would have never seen it because it's blocked by this huge wall, and it kind of looks like a little, quote unquote, little Mexico. And again, here's another community that just needs help, and it's right in the heart of Phoenix. It's about almost literally maybe like a 4-block stretch, and but the clear disparities between the city and this little town, it's so crystal clear. You literally be driving and you're like, what the hell? Like, did we make a wrong turn? Like, where are we at? Like, it's like a little hidden gem. So, and quite frankly, I'm still trying to figure out, is that how y'all want it to be? Or is this, do you like it like this? I mean, if you like it like this, let's keep it like that. But I don't know who's really, again, having these conversations of, what do you all want? What do you all need? Or do you not need anything? So these are always 2 great questions of like, what would you like to see? And is there anything we can do? And if we had that conversation a lot more with the folks, man, this would be a better world.
I agree 100%. So the U.S. government does not interfere in the physical land of where the tribes are. There are 22.
You're 22 here in the state of Arizona.
In Arizona.
Correct. Yeah.
Arizona.
Yeah.
How many are there nationwide?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm gonna find that one out for you.
Okay.
I should know that.
All right. So, dang it. We'll cut this out.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. So does that also mean that like are reses self-sustained like an Air Force base? Like it's governed, water, electricity.
You said it. Yep. You just said it. It's governed. That's tribal government. That's
Okay.
exactly what it is. So yes, they should be self-sustainable. We have our own police, fire. I mean, everything. Everything is self-sustainable.
Copy. Okay. So then, how's the interaction with just the land that's right next? So somebody who is registered as a tribal member, are they also a U.S. citizen, and can they like drive and pick up groceries with their ID?
Yes. So it's almost like a double dip, and that's what it really should be.
Okay.
I mean, let's really think about it. I mean, again, let's go all the way back.
Mm-hmm.
These native folks were doing their thing just fine before anybody else came here. So let's work together. That's the nice way to do it, as opposed to you just ripping it out of my hands and stealing it from me and killing my family. So.
Copy.
I mean, let's call it like it is.
Yes, and those are the intensity of the stories here.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about, or not thinking about, being told about the history that exists here physically with people walking around here whose
His stories.
Yep,
Yeah.
His story. Mm-hmm.
So those things are so very interesting because the United States is, I think, a lot of times in people's brains when they say America or the U.S., they mean there's an image that comes to their mind,
Cool.
either an image of a type of life or a way of being or something like that that comes to their brain. And there are really so many different ways of being here in the U.S. that the projected image, right, of like freedom
Sure.
was sort of saying, well, freedom is this.
Right.
This is what, so you got to do this. If you don't do this, then it's not really, why are you here?
Sure.
I think that goes all the way to the go to school, get a job sort of deal, or just, like the follow this particular route as opposed to being a free bird.
Totally. Yeah. And we need those free birds. Like we do. We need these the creators. We need the thinkers. We need the people who think outside that we think they're crazy.
Right.
Like
It's
Kanye.
only in the present.
Yeah, exactly. I think of Kanye. He's the most like put on person. Like that dude's off his lid. Like he's crazy. Like he's off his meds. What if he isn't? Like what if he is just that? What if he's a generator? What if he comes up with these amazing ideas because he's getting some downloads or something like that from somewhere else that he's really trying to evolutionize. Like he's like trying to push us to the next level. Like I'm just saying these are just. Go ahead.
So you have not seen his interview with Joe Rogan?
I have not yet.
Watch Kanye West and Joe Rogan, especially for everyone who goes, Kanye West is crazy. I don't listen. Because when I bring up Kanye, I really respect Kanye West and whatever the music is and whatever opinions. When it comes to a lot of different things, a lot of people have opinions I don't agree with.
Totally.
Right? Doesn't mean he's a bad human being, right?
Thank you.
But when I talk about him, literally the first thing is he's crazy or he's, you shouldn't listen to him, or there's just we will not have a conversation about Kanye West. And that's like what it is.
Sure,
right?
sure.
That interview opened up. He's like building cities. He's living in the future. He's doing stuff in the future. Man became a billionaire out of nowhere. No one wants to talk about it because it's like he does know what he's doing, but it's like also at the same time he's freaking dude who would cut off his ear and send it to you know what I mean? Like it's that same thing, but you have to really sit there and go, we can take. Just like it's either we can take both at the same time. We can literally look at someone and say, we're not going to take these pieces of them, but we're going to take this stuff, and we're not going to promote that stuff. We're also going to say, this stuff sucks, dude. Stop doing this, but keep doing this stuff over here where it's both. Not just you as a person we don't want you, or we love you, you're great, and if you do one thing wrong, oh, God, dude, you fall in love.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Go ahead, please, go. Yeah, jump in.
All right, 5 minutes. I need to come up with like a signal or high five or something. No, but it comes to the point where we have this idea in our mind of someone we think is crazy, but really are we just so used to one ideal of a person that we can't even see past that to what if they really aren't and they're just completely ahead of everybody else.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Well, that's when you look at the past. In the present, we can have this conversation. Yeah. No one's having that conversation about Oberg and Wilbur Wright.
Right.
You're like, of course they were geniuses and they were awesome. They should have had all the money and attention and everything. Why didn't people do anything?
Right.
Because they were crazy talking about they can fly.
Yeah.
Right.
Like they can fly. Like humans can fly.
Yep.
Like,
and you know how many neighbors probably around them that were like, y'all are idiots.
Right.
Y'all, they're talking them down and just shoot them down.
Laughing
Every
at
day.
them, joking.
But they kept
every
going.
day, year after year after day after week. They got to deal with that.
They knew with what they were working towards was going to be something that was incredible, and as long as you know it, and you don't let anybody else tell you otherwise, then you just got to keep going.
Amen. And it reminds me of this Rumi quote, which is like, outside of right and wrong, there's a field. And in that field, I'll meet you there. Like, I love that quote because it's like, it's not judging if Kanye's crazy or if he's not.
Right.
Who cares? Like, that's not the point. The point is, what's he doing?
Right.
Everyone wants to know what's he doing.
Exactly.
What's the outcome? What's he up to? And I just love that. I love working with folks who think completely outside the box. Mm-hmm. And I love that whole saying, hey, there's no such thing as a stupid idea or a stupid question. Mm-hmm. Ask away. Like, we need these. I mean, as children, like, our kids asked us a billion questions every day. I know your kids probably ask you, hey, what's going on? Why? And I think we've gotten away from that. I mean, the world has really kind of, tainted us. It really has society, and I think like America has really, kind of dumbed it down to like, oh no, this is right. Can't accept that. Like
same with body positivity. There's only one body size that's acceptable, and everything else is not. Acceptable.
Exactly. Oh, I'm fluffier.
Right.
Great. Like, why are we not? honoring that too.
Right.
Like,
Mhm.
sweet, you're a
Like
little bit bigger.
Like the dad bod thing.
Yes.
Why doesn't anyone talk about the mom bod? Because it is
That's a
here.
good point.
and
That's a good point. I love
it's living.
Yes,
Okay.
it's a real thing. Thank you. And that's the point. Why we're talking about it.
I am here for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But and again, I think this really comes back down. Let me pull this all back too. I feel like a lot of that comes back down to greed. You know, I always can relate to like greed or some type of control.
Mm-hmm.
And so those two things, I always feel like anything that's kind of skewed, not positive, it's somehow drawn back to that. And I mean, we were just talking about the NCAA. Why is the women's gym, they get, you know, a rack of hand dumbbells? The men's gym gets, I mean, it's a full-on gym. And let's be real, you know what it is? It's because of this. Like, they're going after those ratings. The men's basketball pulls in more ratings. It brings us more money. So therefore, they should get better, bigger, better prizes.
Same
right?
with men getting higher pay
Boom.
than women.
Thank you. So it's like, wait, hold up. Like, so this whole shift of narrative too as well, like all these isms, these sexism, racisms, all these things need to be kind of really talked to and really shined upon. And I love
ageism.
Yeah, ageism. Thank you. Another thing, it's like, what does age got to do damn with anything?
Mm-hmm.
I know more mature 5-year-olds and more mature than 75-year-olds. Like I really do. And so, anyways, I could talk on this platform all day. So let me back up. Let me just sip my coffee. Let me just.
So we didn't get to. You gotta wrap up, but we gotta go to where you from, where were you raised, and how'd you get to? You know, how'd you get to where you are right now? You have 32 seconds.
32 seconds. Go. Born and raised here in Tucson, Arizona. Native again. Paying homage to native Gila River. Went to Tucson High, Safford, Kellon, Borton. That was backwards, just so y'all know if y'all caught that one backwards. And love Tucson. Got 2 kids here, and I got to where I'm at. I'm so tired of meeting fake people who are literally looking at you and talking to you and going, yeah, whatever, Jermaine. I'm trying to figure out how I can make some money off of you. Like, and I know what you're saying, but I'm thinking I'm scheming over here, and so I don't. Those folks I really shy away from, and so I love Tucson. I want to see this place thrive. I mean, just right now we're here at Big Heart Coffee, which is a great organization who promotes all things local. And I love, I mean, I've been kind of pushing coffee aside, but I still want to see them win. I think this is a great idea. This is a great concept, and a community should rally around them and support them. I mean, even if they don't drink coffee, you can still use this workspace.
Right.
Precisely.
Absolutely.
Some stuff
They
like
have
that.
tea.
Yeah, thank you. They have tea. They have
They probably
pastries.
have vodka.
Yes, I bet you
Right.
might.
There's something for everybody, right?
Hey, you got it all for everybody.
Yes.
We got your
Yes.
service.
You can also donate to IMU 360 full-size hygiene items for homeless youth. So here, and at American Eco
and
too.
tell everyone where we're at. My mother said last time she
Oh.
watched, we didn't really talk about where we were at, and it was hard to. So where
Okay.
are we, and
No.
where can we find where we are located?
Absolutely. We're at Big Heart Coffee, located at 4208 or 4802. Not 100% sure. One of those two, though. All right, you only have 2 to figure out.
Google. That's what
Yeah.
Google's for.
East 22nd Street.
Yes.
That street that we're looking at is Mountain View. The street over is Swan.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
1 block from Swan and 22nd, you'll see Big Heart Coffee. It's a giant parking lot
Yeah.
for you to run your festival
Yes.
if you're interested in that.
Hey, there we
Yeah.
go.
Yes.
I like that plug.
Well, that was smooth, yeah.
So, Kendall, we definitely have to have you on again because we want to get
Love
into
to.
more nuanced topics
Sure.
for now because definitely so much we could have spoken about. What's your final word for our audience? Something you want them to know
Sure.
about you or
Sure.
just some advice for them to go out and be better humans?
I think I'll give them 2. I think one you kind of touched on earlier, which is you don't have to pick, left or right, blue or red. It can be together and I know Jermaine didn't really touch on it that well, but I want to make sure that that's synonymous. And I think the other one I like to leave on is you can go fast alone, but if you want to go far, go together.
Oh, that's so good. And
Thank
where
you.
can we find you?
Right here, and but you can find me in Tucson. I don't know.
Are you
I'm sorry.
on Instagram?
Oh, yeah,
Or
sorry.
if someone wants
Sorry.
to communicate with
I
you.
could give 2 flips about social
You're like, I
media.
live on this
yeah,
street?
Yeah, I'm like,
Come on over.
my address is, yes, of course, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I delete Twitter, Snapchat, all the other stuff. It's a lot of, I'm still trying to navigate it because I'm like, I understand new technology as well. It can be used as a good tool, and then also I'm like, this is also a sucker. It's drawing your attention. It's, I mean, these boxes. Look, we all have our boxes right in front of us. We're talking to a box right there, and it's just like, it's weird. I'm still trying to navigate it because it's like this is new technology, but it's also what happened to just face-to-face talking.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure all that out.
Yeah, you know what? I want to mention this. So, I think this is what happened before technology exists. Let's say before the internet. There's no internet. Right?
Sure.
People are communicating in a particular way. Right?
Yeah.
But depression exists, sadness exists. Everything that people say is drawn from social media has already existed, right?
Totally.
So then social media comes about, and it's like, oh look, now or rather the internet comes about. So now I can talk to somebody across the world like super fast,
Totally.
right?
Yes.
That's an improvement, and I think when we talk about technology as it's taking away from what was, as opposed to something separate from, that's the issue. So it's not that we can't. This is both right here, right?
Yeah.
We're doing both the boxes and the in-person.
Right, yes,
And then
yes.
everybody who watches, your mom's doing the box thing,
Yes.
She is.
or we're doing the in-person, right?
She is.
Or we can have them chat back and forth. So I think it's individual responsibility, which is what I'm going to eventually get to. Just
I
to
knew where you
wrap
were
it
going
up.
with this. Yes, I know where you're going with this. Go ahead. Yep.
Individual responsibility. So I go to my Facebook page, I see something that I don't like, and my choice then is to say I'm upset and I'm going to complain. I'm going to jump into that person's comment and tell them how I don't like what they're doing. I could just mute them. I could just roll past the comment and mind my own business because it's their feed, you know?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So you as an individual, and I put a couple Facebook posts about this, like here's the thing where it says follow, unfollow, unfriend.
Uh-huh.
So it's like you have options. They don't even have to know.
You get to
You can
choose.
just
They don't even have to
It's
know.
Yes.
you.
Yeah.
They don't have to know.
I've
Yeah.
muted a couple
Oh,
of
yeah.
family members.
Oh, totally.
You know?
Totally. Same here. I literally, just so y'all know, I've deleted about 300 friends just in this past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I'm planning on doing some more. And the funny part is, like, I don't need to tell people.
Right.
Like, I don't need to tell.
Exactly.
Hey, Janae, hey, I think about deleting some photos. Hey, cuz, I think about deleting photos. It's like, who does that?
Yeah, exactly.
Who steps out the front
I
door and
don't
goes,
like you.
I'm gonna stop talking to you people. It's like, how dumb does that
Hey
look?
Karen, you.
Yeah.
All right. Bobby, you.
I don't
no
like
more.
you.
Right. I don't even
Bye.
talk to you anymore. Oh, okay.
I don't want to be your friend.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
So,
back when I was working at City High, the students were like, okay, we're gonna go protest for coal and all
that's
that.
right. You were a teacher. I remember that.
Yes.
Yes, I remember that.
So they go out, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna record this. Yeah, I'm just there. They're gonna pay me anyway. So I was like, well, I don't want to leave. Then I'll stay and I'll do some recording. Did some recording and I put it up. Right. I'm not a protester. I'm not a protester. But I believe in protesting and people's rights to do it because it's the United States.
Yes.
And
Freedom of speech.
so, the hate I got online
Oh yeah.
for 12, 11, 13, 14-year-olds, from the 72-year-olds you're talking about, the adults in the world, the hate, the anger, they're stupid, calling them names, I snapped. I like 350. I like went on a spree.
Sure.
Anybody who had anything on their page that was anything close to disrespectful about the environment or whatever,
Yep.
for that 2 hours, I was a monster.
Yeah.
Like I was like no mercy.
Mhm.
You guys are so like, what a garbage thing to do. They're going out, 11 years old. I want to. I'm talking about one of the chants was like, excuse me. I got like my allergies and all this. One of the chants was something about keeping the coal underground. I don't remember. I don't know, but it was so clever and it taught me about coal.
Oh.
It was just like a couple of words. I was like, well, I didn't know that. That was. I was like, oh, I'm there dancing to the chant.
Yeah.
And online, you have these people like, oh, these kids are just trying to get out of school. Like, yeah, global, worldwide, millions of kids want to get out of school for like 4 hours. It was a half a day, by the way. It
Right.
wasn't even a full day. I was like, and these are human beings who have children themselves and who raise kids. They're probably like yelling in the house. Anyway, we have to wrap this up.
Okay.
Jermaine, I'm talking to me. Thank you all for joining us at home. Kelsey, anything for the audience?
No, I think you carried it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Carried that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Thanks, Kendall.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, that's funny.
And I forgot to turn that on, so.
I say that
It was
he-
on.
I-
Or-
yeah.
I think it turned off.
Yeah. it
Timed
did.
out.
It's funny. Oh. Yeah.
Alright, so that looks good. It's set, and I'll just turn it on when we're ready to roll.
And my
Alright,
video.
so.
Do you want to end it?
Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting.
I'm here for you.
Right. I
Thank
was
you.
like,